All right. Welcome to the Inward Bound Podcast, a journey to the self with Alex and Kirsten. I'm Alex.
I'm Kirsten.
It's the first time doing it. Gonna take some getting used to. Just a rough draft.
This will be the worst video we ever do.
Or the best.
Or the best.
Or the best.
We'll see.
Welcome to the living room, the fireplace, the good vibe factory, if you will.
The juice factory. Even though we don't have our main source of juice here with us yet.
Yeah.
She's with the grandparents.
She's with the grandparents. Okay, I'm gonna turn this around.
Oh yeah. Keep looking at myself.
No, you're all right.
Okay, so
Who are we and what are we doing?
yeah, we're obviously, not obviously, but we're partners, husband, wife. We have a daughter together, almost 1 year old, a little girl. That is awesome, and honestly has set us on this journey that we're on. I think we've obviously been on our own, each separate life journeys, and then together when we got married, but she is my why, and we have a greater why, but at the end of the day, she is why I want to be my best self also for Alex, but yeah, just be the best example that I can be for her.
Yeah. And a little bit of background just on both of us. So Kirsten is a registered dietitian, and she's worked in the NFL. She's worked with college athletes. She's worked with moms, just everyday people, and dads, anybody that needs nutrition help, because everybody needs nutrition help, as you'll find out. And I've spent the last decade working in strength and conditioning at the collegiate level, working for a tech startup in fitness, and literally yesterday was my last day, because we just feel as though we're being led to try to spread a little light, share a little love. And we've been on this journey of self-love, self-care, and figuring out that I think both of us grew up, but I think a lot of people grew up in environments that self-care wasn't something that was pushed or necessarily celebrated.
Selfish,
Yeah.
A lot of times, I think.
Yeah. I think a lot of people see self-care as being selfish, but we just want to try to help people do what we're doing and take everybody on the journey with us to become our best selves, love ourselves, accept ourselves, know ourselves, and quit being distracted. Wake up a little bit, spend a little bit more time outside, spend a little bit more time with your loved ones, but spend a lot of bit more time with yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Which is not comfortable. It's really getting out of your comfort zone and embracing a growth mindset is kind of what we're at least prioritizing, and I think I'll speak for myself, allowed me to go on this journey of finding myself. And I don't know if I necessarily fully love myself yet, but I'm sure a lot closer than I was when I started. This is our dog, Django.
He will be in and out.
Loving guy.
He knows no rules.
I know. But, yeah, self-care. Yeah. And he's making me lose my train of thought. But anyway, I would like to read our why. This is just something we've been talking about, joining forces and working together. It's always been something that I thought would be cool, is to work with Alex, because he does push me and helps me grow. And I know he believes in me. And so I just have always thought he would be a great coworker, and even just seeing him at his previous job and other jobs before that, and his mentorship abilities and leadership abilities and empathy. He's just a very empathetic person. And who do you want surrounding you and as your coworker? Those type of people. And obviously, I married him, so I love him. But so yeah, we've decided that we're gonna go on this journey together and work together and just share our journey, and hopefully, like Alex said, encourage and empower others to do the same in the best way that works for them.
And I think what we've come to find out is, and what we truly believe in, is everybody has their own perspective and lens that they're operating within the world and the information that they know. And us, with our backgrounds and how into wellness we have become, and our schooling and everything, our experiences, we take for granted sometimes what people don't know. And I know, me personally, I can speak to just clients that I've worked with that don't even understand how good sleep is for you, or how good just like taking a breather and taking a second to just check in on yourself and see how you're doing is. There's so many people that don't know that or don't understand, or maybe go really hard in one direction. They're like super into fitness or super into nutrition, but they forget, because we're big on mind, body, and soul, taking care of mindfulness and meditation, whatever that looks like for you. But it's an all-encompassing thing, instead of, I think, both of us worked in realms where it was very heavily performance bound. And don't get me wrong, helping athletes, incredible. Really fun to
They're
do.
human beings too.
Yeah, and they need the same kind of help, but why can't everybody treat themselves like they're a professional athlete? Like, maybe not to them, we'll talk about this at some point, but not to the same like dedication or extremism way of being a professional athlete. But like, why don't you optimize yourself and try to live your best life? And how can you live your best life unless you're like actually meeting your needs?
I had something, but I lost. Oh, yeah. So that's why Inward Bound is just as we're brainstorming, okay, what represents like our mission here? And we're forming a company or business together called AKG Wellbeing, we think is the title. But then for the podcast, what are we really doing here? And Inward Bound really stuck out for us because that is the journeys we're on, is literally going inside instead of listening to all the external stuff that's out there. And don't get me wrong, like I've utilized a ton of different like amazing resources that other people have done, pouring their like passions and being vulnerable and all this stuff. Brene Brown, the holistic psychologist, the Outlive book that you like. So I'm not saying like learn from those people, but then at the end of the day, it's how do you take all that information and learn about it, but then use it for yourself. Everyone is different. Everyone is so individual and has different needs and all this, and has different circumstances that they're working through. And going inward is what we found. And there's this movement of we are our own expert. Like even when I'm working with someone on nutrition, like sometimes they just want me to give them like a meal plan and follow this, eat this exact thing. And it's, yeah, I can do that. But at the end of the day, like I need to know what you're going to enjoy eating, what is going to be realistic for you and your schedule and all this stuff. And like you have to be a part of that process. And so it's the same thing with your mind, body, soul, taking care of all of those and your whole being. Because we were talking about it earlier today. You only get one body. We only get one life. And we're all just doing the best we can. And so we want to help people in doing the best they can to take care of themselves, control what they can control, what you can control, so that if everyone just controlled what they could control and did their best and had these resources and had these tools in their pocket that they could pull out and use to regulate their emotions, to fuel themselves properly, hydrate themselves, get all the sleep and rest that they need, move their bodies in ways they enjoy, like just think about the impact of that on how the people that you're around. Like I know when I'm in a good mood and I'm taking care of myself, like I'm much more able to show up in the way that I want to show up with my husband, with my daughter, at work. Like I've also not been where I am now, and looking back and I'm like, oh man, like I really was not sometimes the proud of who I was or the best version of myself with coworkers, whether it's, I wasn't eating or taking care of my own self because I'm worried about everyone else, which if you're a mom out there, if you're even dads, like anyone out there, a caregiver, like that is so common to be putting, other people before yourself. And like we said, like grew up thinking like that was selfish if you took time for yourself. And I just think there's a better way.
Yes, there's a better way, and it doesn't have to be as extreme as what we've come to found as, because like, again, we have expertise and we have experience and we have knowledge, and just taking a look at the landscape that is like what fitness culture has become and how extreme it can feel, where it's, okay, I have to do X, Y, Z and this and so much of this and all of this. And then it starts to become so overwhelming for people, when really at the end of the day, something is always better than nothing. A little bit of something every day doing the work daily and just committing to that, no matter what that looks like for you. I know that there are so many clients and people that I've worked with in the past that's, hey, you need to do this and you should do this. Oh, I don't think I had the time to do that. A 5-minute walk is still better than nothing. Like, it doesn't have to be this intense thing. It doesn't have to be, well, I have to go on this super intense, strict diet. No, it can literally just be intent and like doing the best that you can. Maybe you don't have vegetables every meal, but are you trying to maybe get them in a day? Like a little bit of something for yourself there to just do those things. But I think one of the most important things that we really want to get across to people, or hope and pray that it comes through, is we're not perfect. We have a lot of stuff going on right now. And the thing that I really want to say to you is I'm proud of you, because I know both of us are nervous doing this. Like, we're putting ourselves out there and we're scared maybe a little bit about putting ourselves out there and going on this journey and just doing it with the intent of trying to help people. But we can do hard things and we will do hard things, and putting ourselves out there like this is that growth mindset that's just going to continue to help push you forward to be the best person to be the best person that I can. Yeah. And we want to be able to, as we continue to go through our own journeys, is share some of those walks, to not talk about or brag about or be like, look how much better we're getting. It's much more about just sharing and encouraging and trying to hopefully be an example, because really deep down, one of the reasons why we're doing this is for our daughter. It's like that if something happens to us, she has video documentation of what we believe in and what our journey has been, and it might encourage her. But again, we want her to be able to go do whatever she wants to do. And everybody deserves to follow their passions, to follow their gut, to follow their dreams, and to just do what fills their cup. And a lot of people just aren't doing that. So we just hope that we can maybe be an example for other people. Because I know you can think of so many people, and I can think of so many people in our families that we've worked with in the past, anybody that we've crossed paths with in the universe can always use a little bit more help. Just being themselves and just being.
Yeah. And I think going off that too is like believing in yourself. Like, as he alluded to, like, he's the talker. Like, he is, at least from my perspective, like,
She can talk to.
it just comes out so easy for him. There's people like that, and that's not really ever been me. Like, people have told me I speak well when getting up in front of NFL players and all this, and that just blows my mind, because like, I have this fear of putting myself out there, and especially when it comes to speaking. And so this is me facing my fears through this journey. And I think everyone probably has a fear or insecurity or self-doubt. And maybe some people have a lot, some people have a little bit, and it can be a wide range of things that have caused that or led you to be struggling with whatever it is that you're struggling with. And so for me, like, social anxiety, talking in front of people is that. And so that's really kept me from becoming my best self and being able to share what I feel the abilities that God has given me with the world. And even just when it comes to nutrition in particular, has held me back from maybe helping a certain player, because I take it as he doesn't want to talk to me or whatever it is, or not taking an opportunity to get up and talk in front of the team, when really I could have maybe given some guys a good message, but I was afraid of, I know a couple guys would probably think I'm annoying, or like, some of this is me things I'm working through literally at this point in my life, some of this self-doubt and like core beliefs that I've come to believe about myself that have impacted my ability to show up as my best self. So this is me attempting to undim my light and face fear.
And we want to not only undim our light, but try to use our light to help others be a light. Sometimes the world does feel like it's a little bit dark, because there are so many people out there that, like, we truly believe in the statement of like, hurt people and healed people heal people. And it's not even like fully healed people. It's just that people that choose to do the brave and courageous thing of taking care of themselves and confronting past traumas, confronting their fears, confronting discomforts, confronting just emotions, just purely just emotions, and being able to work through those things, the people that unfortunately it seems are the loudest people sometimes that really influence how people are feeling about themselves, how people feel about the world, probably haven't been taking great care of themselves. Probably haven't been, they might come from the generation that doesn't even believe, because again, the science back in the day used to think that emotions were a sign of like lack of intelligence or weakness, or that they were an actual issue. And don't get me wrong, emotions can be an issue if you don't deal with them. Like people think that just keeping it inside and not working through it and just ruminating is better than expressing, feeling, crying, having all of those feelings and emotions that our bodies are literally equipped to do. And that is something else that we really, again, going back to our expertise and our knowledge, there's so many cool things that our bodies are capable of and communicating to us that so many people ignore or don't even just take the time to just stop. Even on those days when you're like not feeling special, or you're not like, I don't matter, there's nothing cool about me. Your body's doing some insane stuff all the time, whether you like it or not. And it's about making sure that it can do it to the best of its ability, so that way you can do whatever you want to do to the best of your ability. That's you, again, pro athletes, they want to take the best care of their body, even their mentals, even everything else. So that way when they show up on the field, show up on the court, whatever, they're doing the best that they can do. Why can't quote unquote normal people, the average everyday human being, do that same thing?
And going off of that, I think our message applies, like we said earlier, to athletes as well. Because a lot of times, like, for example, with the Colts, like, they had an initiative on mental health awareness. Like, think about how impactful that is when some of these players that, like, fandom is a real thing. Like, hearing these players, like, talk about the struggles that they're going through. I think we sometimes put actors, athletes, like, all these different people, politicians up on this pedestal, but like at the end of the day, we're all human beings. And I think that's why our message is literally just for human beings. And sometimes we talk about our dog Django too, because like we all have needs. Like we have basic needs that need to be met on a daily basis for our bodies and for the incredible things that he's talking about to happen. And I think so many people like we didn't learn about this stuff. Like there's so many things obviously I have learned over the period of time to become a registered dietitian, and even just talking with him about the body and movement and all this stuff, anatomy, physiology, and then learning about the mental health side, which we've learned about on our own and we're by no means experts in, but how coordinated all of it is, and how if you're not taking care of one, how much it impacts the others. And like you said, I like to think of health, and there's so many things that exist on a spectrum, but health on a spectrum, and it's like there's all these external messages about what's healthy, what's not healthy, you should do this, you shouldn't do that, and this like perfect image spit out about what health looks like and all this stuff. But really, like, health is on a spectrum, and I had a mentor explain it to me this way, so I'm totally stealing this concept, but it just stuck with me. So on one side is people out there, maybe this is someone who's listening who like probably not, I don't know, but you don't care about health, or maybe like your circumstances, you have too much going on to think about how much water you're drinking, how much food you're eating, like you're just in survival mode or whatever your situation is, and like health is not on your radar. But then there's the other side of the spectrum where you may be obsessed with one aspect of health. I think of in nutrition having to learn a lot about disordered eating and that connection with trying to be perfect, and it manifesting in how you treat your body, whether it's like over exercising, under eating, or just orthorexia, where you think you have to be absolutely perfect with what you put in your body. I'm going on a tangent. But then there's also like the middle ground, where it's like trying to move the needle on both sides to get people to where their optimal well-being is. You hear the word holistic, and that it's not in the trendy, only certain people can achieve this type of way, but just in the sense of we all have a mind a body and a soul that has these basic needs, and they're all important. They all impact each other. And it's not about let's be perfect with any of them. You're never going to be perfect, but because we're human beings, but just progress over perfection and just working towards that like most peaceful balance.
Just try. Just like, put in a little bit of effort, have a little bit of intent, because like we talk about all the time, intent with what you're doing is extremely important. If with anything, it doesn't have to be perfect, because I come from a background, or I come from a journey that was, I would say, like exercise addicted and like almost eating disordered, but in the sense of like overeating in a way of I felt as though if I didn't have X amount of protein per day and X amount of this and X amount of that, it was a bad thing, and I would be mad at myself, or I would feel shame, or it would get me down. But all of that was in pursuit of some sort of body that I felt as though matched what society was asking, or matched how, like, in my head, I was like, if I don't look like this, then I'm lesser than. Because elementary school, I was overweight, and so I went through all of these, really did get bullied on the playground, and a lot of that carried through, and it was like, all of a sudden I discovered weightlifting. Wow, I can change my body, I can do this. So even getting into the fitness arena of coaching people was almost led by a negative source. Like, it was fueled in a negative way. But I've been able to go through this journey of not only myself, but watching other people go through this journey, in the sense of, because I have become so much more lax with everything. And what we try to say, or what we will hope comes across, is that like these are things that we have just tried and we found success in them. And again, it's not the end all be all. I think you were alluding to it, but some of these books, even Outlive, I love the book Outlive, but some of what it's saying just feels daunting. It feels like, oh, I have to do 8 hours of zone 2 cardio per week in order to be maximally healthy. Yeah, that can be extremely daunting. But it doesn't have to be any of those things. It's literally just have a little bit of a toolbox, have something, even if you can't communicate with yourself, have a checklist of things that is just checking in with yourself every day. Have I drank water? Have I eaten food? Even if it's only a couple times a day, like just trying to improve every day. Have I moved? And that can just be walking. That can be yoga. That can be stretching, whatever. But have I moved my body? Because she said about mental health, no, we're not experts, but we both struggled with mental health. I personally struggled with anxiety, depression, some pretty negative, dark thoughts. And through those moments, I had to find ways to dig out of it, to get myself out of that so I could get on with my life and actually live my life. Because depression, anxiety, all of those things, ruminating, not dealing with your emotions, can lead you into this state of just feeling stuck. Like you can't move forward, like you can't do anything, like you're just stuck in mud. And it's really easy. It's like we talk about during the winter, how hard it is to get out of bed in the morning because it's cold in our house and we have wonderful blankets that keep us warm. And sometimes that's what depression feels like, where it's, I'm good here. Like comfort. A lot of what the body chases is this comfort. But that's just, a lot of it's just distraction. A lot, like there'll be some like footage of what our house looks like, but we have purposely went on this journey of going quote unquote furniture free, where we don't, like, we're in our living room. There's no couch in here. There's nothing. It's just a rug. And it has led us to not having the TV on as much, because there's not a place for us to just sit and be uber comfortable that we don't want to get up and just, oh, let's just keep watching shows and doing this. Don't get me wrong. Nothing wrong with enjoying those things. Nothing wrong with doing those things, because I watch a lot of anime, if I do say so myself. But it's about a balance and making sure that you are living your life. If you love doing that, if you love doing those types of things, do it. But also pair it with these other things that, yes, you want to have as much happiness and joy and pleasure and that dopamine. Everybody craves dopamine throughout your life because it feels good. But you also want to make sure that you're still taking care of yourself and you have a self. And it's not just this character that people tell you have to be, or this person that you tell you have to be, or these things that people tell you have to do. It's literally just listening to yourself and trusting yourself and not trying to meet anybody else's needs before you can meet your own.
Yep.
Woo!
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing too, is just we feel like we've been awoken to be able to see this in a perspective, see wellness in a new perspective, being in a new perspective, because who's controlling the narrative that majority of people see when it comes to being wellness? It's $1 billion industry that is trying to sell you this or that and telling you that you need it in order to love yourself, to be acceptable to society, to meet all these external pressures, when I feel like at the end of the day, and I think we both believe, is that by going inward, that's actually how you figure out like who you are, what you want, like what like helps you accept yourself and love yourself.
And it's such a personal journey. Like, you keep emphasizing the word you because it's going to look different for every single person. Like, just because of the way that we live our lives or what we do, it's not like we're sitting here being like, you got to live, you got to do this thing, you got to try this furniture free thing, don't watch TV anymore. That's literally not what we're telling you. We're trying to encourage people to go inward and find what brings them joy, what truly enriches their life, what allows them to go after their passions, to be able to do things that they enjoy, get into a flow state, just literally live more life. So that way you don't look back and you're like, what, where did it go? Or you were like, I know we worry about family members and we worry about people close to us. How are you feeling when you're 40? How are you feeling when you're 50? How are you feeling even when you're 30? Like, some people that I talk to, it's like they're like, I'm 30 now. Oh, my back hurts. This hurts. You don't have to be resigned to that fact, though, because again, it's the minimal routine maintenance of getting my water, sleeping, I'm eating food, I'm fueling my body, I'm moving, I'm meditating, I'm breathing, I'm checking in with myself. Like, and it can be, again, 1 minute a day of everything. And if there's 10 things, guess what? That's 10 minutes. That's all that it takes. Just a little bit of something every day.
And I think we've talked a little bit about, too, our audience wanting some of those people who are our age and going through some of these hard, I don't know, just like figuring out things from childhood and realizing, oh, this may have contributed to something I'm struggling with today. And also probably around family members who are getting older. And for me, I guess I'll just speak for me personally, like, it's really hard to watch them get older and be in pain, be uncomfortable, not be able to go and do the things that I know they wish they could. Even I lost both of my grandmothers this past year, or last year. It's already almost 2024. That was so 2022.
Yeah.
And both too young. Like, I wish they could have met my daughter. I wish they could be here today. Like, I wish I could be having these conversations,
listening to this.
Yeah, with them. And oh, there's a deer in our backyard. Okay. Wow, big deer.
Deer
I
in the
love
backyard.
nature.
We have nature in the backyard.
We love nature. Oh, I love my backyard. Oh my gosh. Sorry. But yeah, like, they did the best they could with the information they had at the time. And thankfully we live today. Like, sometimes it can feel like a bad thing because there's all this, it's overwhelming with all the information, but we just want to help simplify it so that we can utilize information that's out there just to help guide being more intentional with your life so that you can take control of those things in a proactive way rather than having to deal with them and your family see you suffering in that way. And so,
in a reactive way, where,
yeah,
because a lot of the time, whenever something does present itself, because there is so much information coming out about how even just mental health and emotional well-being influences your physical health and what it can do to your body and to your hormones, to all of the processes in your body, if you're just literally not taking care of yourself and doing those little things that can help keep you living a life not only for yourself, but also for the people that you care about. Because even if that's the one thing that gets you started on this journey of applying that thought to, like you were saying, like your grandmothers, I'm sure that if they had access to this information, or there were more people trying to share this type of information, they might still be here. You never know. And so if you were to go back and give them the option and be like, hey, I'm going to have a daughter in 2022. I want you to be there. Can you take care of yourself? Like, I bet you 10 out of 10 times they would jump on that. Anybody who has passed away, like, if you have the opportunity, if I could add 5 more years to your life that you could spend with your loved ones, what would you do?
And I have 2 things. The quality years.
Yes.
Not like suffering, because I won't get too personal about like my family members, but like I'm not saying that their passings were directly caused by like anything in particular that they did. It's just like we are coming out of a period of time where there was limited knowledge about the human body. I think there's Western or like ancient
Western and Eastern medicine.
Yeah, like, you know, some different things, but it's like it only focused on such specific things. Like I remember finding writings from one of my grandmas, actually my great grandma, talking about what she needed to do to stay skinny. It was all about like appearance. It wasn't actually about, there's so many things we could talk about when it comes to like females and just society things and like pressures, but even men, like just like things you've struggled with, there's these societal pressures to look a certain way when it's like, what about inside? What about what's going on inside and how you feel? So it's shifting the conversation from, and for me personally, also sharing my own like story. I think a lot of people who are in the health and wellness space probably got there because of trying to deal with their own insecurities or, you know, whatever it may be. And so that was the same for me studying nutrition. There was someone older than me who I was still in high school, but she had started studying to be a dietitian and said, like, I can't get fat if I'm a dietitian. And that stuck with me and wasn't the sole reason, but I also loved exercising from a younger age. But a lot of that was because of trying to control my body and how it looked and insecurities I had about this or that. And for my own daughter, we got thick thighs. Sorry, we have thick thighs, and it's something it's taken me a while to come to accept and actually love about myself. But like that, I have many messages that I can remember from childhood about comments about how my legs looked, and I perceived that as they're not okay. I need to change them. And so I, for a long time, was like chasing and using nutrition and fitness as a way to change my body so that I could be more accepted, when really my body is beautiful how it is. And there's a reason I have these legs. Like I can pick up heavy shit. And that's what I want to help change the message for my daughter and all young girls and all young boys, literally any human being, is that like you are special and uniquely you, and your body can do amazing things. And it shouldn't, we should care. You can care about how you look because that is part of society and all this stuff. But let's also talk about all the amazing things your body can do and the things that your body needs in order to do all those amazing things well.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, winding it back, everybody has needs and are worthy of meeting those needs and deserve to have those needs met. You're going to read the mission? You're going to read the why?
Okay. Yes, I want to share our why. So I'm just going to read it. We want to utilize our experiences, skills, perspective, pain, and passions to encourage, uplift, and empower others to begin or continue their journey of well-being and self-discovery. We will continue our own journeys and choose vulnerability, courage, and a growth mindset to share with others in the hopes of offering motivation, support, and hopefulness. We believe this will help us to be our best for ourselves, each other, Connor, our daughter, and everyone else around us. By controlling what we can, which includes and is limited to ourselves, and raising/guiding our daughter with purpose and intention, this will allow us to meet our needs, prioritize healing and well-being, approach challenges and failure with a growth mindset, and do the daily work to know, love, and accept ourselves and each other. Last sentence, bear with me. By approaching this journey with intention, integrity, vulnerability, and trust, we hope to inspire others and build a community of peaceful, emotionally mature, and holistically well human beings that feel supported, seen, heard, and valued.
Yeah, and that feels like a really good place to wrap everything up. I feel like we've talked a lot about good stuff and on the why. We hope that something resonates. If you are listening to this, if you're seeing any clips, we hope that this resonates with you and you will join us on this journey. And if even maybe you don't feel comfortable joining us on this journey or it didn't resonate with you, just take a pause and think about if there's anybody in your life that could resonate with this or anything that we're going to be talking about. And if you will, in the show notes for the podcast and in all of the different clips, we'll have all of our different accounts and different things that we're going to be posting pretty regularly now, because this is what we're trying to do, trying to inspire, trying to just chase our dreams at the same time, trying to just help and touch as many people as possible and help them realize that they deserve to take care of themselves. Spread some light, spread some love. We love you. We see you.
You are enough.
You are enough. Say that to yourself. Louder. That's a great day to have a great day every single day of your life. Thanks for tuning in.
Peace out.